Welcome to Entrepreneurs, Executives, and Eccentrics, a podcast dedicated to the stories, strategies, and secrets of remarkable individuals. Join us as we engage in enlightening conversations with intriguing entrepreneurs, accomplished executives, and fascinating eccentrics, exploring their journeys, triumphs, and the unconventional wisdom that has shaped their success. In this episode, we talk with Norwood, a personal college consultant and founder of College Sharks, who helps families find the right school without paying full price. We break down what makes the college process so stressful, from tours and deadlines to the Common App. Lee shares simple ways to build a clear college list and avoid common mistakes. We also get into how she grew her consulting practice into a scalable business.
Hello, Lee. Tell me who you are and what you do.
Hi there, Scott. I'm happy to be here. I'm Lee Norwood, so I am a personal college consultant. I work one-on-one with a lot of kids, helping them find the right college, usually leading with price, because I don't think anyone should have to pay full price for college. And I also have a new business called College Sharks, which was really a way to duplicate what I do and grow, but I can't duplicate myself. So I did it in a video series. So it's a really economical way for families, homeschoolers, etc., to really get the information they need when they need it, why they need to do these things, and the workbook that's associated becomes your college application. So I love teenagers, not middle schoolers. I love high school kids, and I try to help this process be as fun and as successful as possible.
As someone who just went through this with their senior, I can tell you it is a bloody nightmare. And we didn't do it with you. We did it with another college counselor. You know, and they did a fairly good, because there's so much to know. There's so much to get wrong. There's so much that can go wrong and you could do wrong. And it's, you know, you're filling out Common App and you have so many questions, and it feels insurmountable from someone who doesn't have any resources. If you were just a kid, you know, single moms working her butt off to like keep food in the family, I don't know how they do it. I really don't.
The role is supposed to be that you have a college counselor at your high school. And unfortunately, the ratio of that these days is like 460 kids to one counselor. And they're dealing with discipline and class choices. So they can't even get around to helping their seniors until it's not too late. But it's too late for the kid to put forth their best effort and to really find the perfect college. So we find this herd mentality. The kids from high schools go to all the same schools, and parents pay full price, where with a little bit of tweaking and a little more forethought, some colleges will discount their price for you. But I mean, it's daunting, and it's not just the college app. There are deadlines and essays and all those things, but I think it's fun. It's like a puzzle.
So, I mean, how did you get here? Like, how did you become a world authority on this very esoteric and very, very complicated process?
That's a great question. So most people who do what I do come from an education background, right? I don't. I'm an entrepreneur. I was a pharma rep for 23 years. You know, I sold Ozempic when I couldn't give it away. I wish I still had some. And I was looking for a change. I have an entrepreneurial spirit. When you're in that golden handcuff of medical sales, it's really hard to leave. They pay you just enough to not make you leave, and you make just enough to not look to leave. But I had to get out. And I started networking. And I met the woman who owns Annapolis College Consulting at a women's networking event. So anybody who's listening, whether you're looking for college or not, go out and network, because that thing of it's who you know is true. She talked a little bit about her business, and I said to her, you know, you're doing exactly what I would stay in college right now if I could be. You're doing what I want to do. How can I do this? And she said, I'm glad you asked, because my husband's about to retire, and he said he's going to go travel the world with or without me. So I need to sell my business. So I mentored under her for over a year, bought the business, and was really prepared to just rock and roll and launch. She set me up. She set me up for success.
I love that. Okay, so you saw a need, fill a need. So you really put your head down, learn this nightmare, and it is a nightmare process, because it's not just enough. It's almost like you have to understand, you know, the perspective of the colleges. You have to understand, like, the kids are all different, and, you know, their grades are all different. AP, IB, how does this go? How does this go? It is absolutely so much. So, you know, what the zeros and ones, like, what are your kind of, you know, if you're just meeting a parent for the first time, you know, what are your kind of initial types of, what do you give as advice, when you're just passing maybe someone in the family?
Well, you really need to figure out what parameter you're leading with when you're getting ready to help your student go to college. I mean, is it a price thing? For me, single mom, it was completely price. I was leading with price. I wanted my bright daughter to be able to go wherever she could, but I needed to lead with that. And that's the hardest thing to lead with because you're looking at these price tags, say, Vanderbilt, Tulane, over $90,000. And you're thinking, oh my God, there's no way. You're going to go to community college first because I can't pay this bill. But that's where the lie is. It's smoke and mirrors. I mean, some people pay full price, but you don't have to. So imagine this maze, and you're an educated person. Imagine this maze if you're a first gen kid. Your parents didn't go to school here. That's even harder. Or if you're coming from a family where your job is supposed to be to take over your dad's lawn care business and you want to go to college and their parents don't know how to help them. It's very, very, very confusing.
Oh, what kind of advice would you give a family member if it was just very casual? They weren't engaged as as a client.
Okay, the first piece of advice is go and see every college you can within 2 hours of your house. Go to the official information session and take the tour and do it with your kid. These kids don't have a base from which to jump. They don't know what college is other than if their friends or their brother or sister went. So I'm not asking you to spend a lot of money, but let's just take the DC area. I could send someone to George Washington University, Georgetown University, American University, and Catholic University. Do those 4 tours. Now, if that student says, man, I love the hustle and bustle of the city. I loved GW. I didn't know who was a student and who was a business person, and I just loved the vibe. Now, they've got a preference. These kids don't have preferences. They're where their parents went, or where Elle Woods went, or their favorite football team. But we need them to have preferences of where the environment that they want to go to for the next 4 years are. So go visit. You will learn so much just by sitting in those info sessions. And they're free. So do it within an hour, 2 hours of your house, rock and roll, and get a baseline of what the heck this is all about.
Yeah, it's interesting because there's a lot of kids. Well, I mean, my son specifically had no idea, still doesn't have any idea what direction, he wants to go in. So it's like, no, I don't think we're going to go send you to George Washington for a liberal arts degree because we don't really know what you're going to do quite yet, right? No, so that has been, and we've done that advice. We've actually done the 2 hours in every direction, and and it took me a month to learn how to do Common App correctly, and it's just so much. It's so much. It almost feels like there's gotchas everywhere. And the fact that every college other than Common App it kind of does a little bit differently doesn't really help that. It's good for consulting, right? But it's not terribly great for the kids.
Well, let's level set for people who don't understand what the Common App is. When I went to college, I had to by hand fill out applications. So after the 3rd college, my hand was tired. I was done. It was over. What the Common App does is it kind of consolidates all that basic information that every school needs. And the majority of the schools your kid's going to apply to will probably fall under that. So it's a common application that dumps everything in there, your recommendations, your grades, your classes, your essay, your main essay, and then that travels around and locks in at the different schools where you're going to apply. So let's say you were going to apply to Rice. I have my Rice cup here. Rice will then ask you a series of questions and potentially some additional essays that you need for their school, but you don't have to fill out the whole application for each school. So what has that done? That has made kids apply to way too many schools. But it's also made it easier to apply to more than 2 or 3 schools, which is kind of where we got stuck. So that is what the Common Application is. But where it's confusing, Scott, is that Common App is for a veteran, an elder person, a 30-year-old that already went to undergrad, and a 17-year-old. So some of the questions, when they don't make sense for you, nobody tells you, this is an everyman's app. So if it doesn't pertain to you, you don't have to answer it. But people will sit and spin and wonder. Their help section is very good. I will give them that. But that's what the Common App is. It allows for more applications to more schools per kid.
So entrepreneurial, let's kind of shift to the entrepreneurial focus of this business. You saw the opportunity, you jumped on, you put your head down, you learn the kung fu, right? That it takes to kind of be awesome at this. Exactly, right? Is there something because ultimately there's a whole generation of businesses being sold right now from a lot of the boomers who are, who are retiring. Can you give any advice, to people who are also kind of going down this road that you did?
So you want me to give advice to if someone wanted to do something like what I do?
Entrepreneurially speaking. Yeah, entrepreneurially
Right.
speaking.
So the first thing you need to do is have a set of mentors. I use a software called Counsel More. You have to stay organized. If you have 2 or 3 or 5 students, you can do it hand and paper in an Excel spreadsheet, but I'm handling way more kids and you need to have the right data. So what I suggest is that you go to counselmore.com. They will help you. They will help you get your process set up. They have training. There's also several associations, IECA, Independent College Education Association, I think, and HECA, Higher Education. Those are all independent college consultants. So they have a tremendous amount of learning and teaching, and you can be in a first year program and you'll learn from people who've gone there before. So it is a great business. It's going to explode, but you have to make sure that as a parent, whoever you're working with, like I see 40 schools a year. My team sees 75, 80 schools a year. It's not just about being able to, help a student find their voice and write their best essay. It's about dialing in and saying, you're an entrepreneur to a student. Babson, have you heard of it? And the kid will go, no, what's that? Well, it's one of the top business schools in the country. It's an incubator for people who want to be entrepreneurs. And we have to be able to guide the kids that way. So it sounds easy, but it's not easy. But there are tools that will get you there quicker. And I think there's like a University of California has a program that'll get you as a certified educational planner. That's a great way to go. It's a hard business to sell because what is the product? The product's me, right? So how did I buy a product from someone else? Well, I bought her knowledge, I bought her reputation, so that the business was coming in. I didn't have to go out and hang a shingle and try to talk people into believing it was a viable company. But then I grew that business fivefold because that was my goal, was to really rock on it and just explode it. And that's where that Counsel More software helped. I mean, we have the best data. I can look up anything for any student. So if anybody really does want to get in this business, you can just email me. I'll help you. No problem.
So College Sharks that's your move to scale a little bit easier, right? It seems like College Sharks is your ability to take all of the years of knowledge that you've gained and kind of put it into a training system. How did you come up with that and how did you do that exactly?
Well, what we were thinking is, I top out at helping about 35 kids. After that, I'm no good because, you come down to that crunch time and November 1st, that date doesn't move, right? So have all these kids applying to all these schools for this one deadline. So I knew when I was full. So how do you scale a business? Well, you can hire more people. I have 3 people on my team. I love it. I don't want to manage anybody. It's like herding cats. So our little foursome is perfect. So how were we going to grow? Well, we wanted to help more people at a much lower price tag. So I've spent the last 2 years building 78 videos, all 8 to 15 minutes long in a junior or a senior track. And you get 2 to 3 videos dropped each month. So you're getting my advice. It's wrapped up it's cool because it's College Sharks. So our shark is our kind of logo and our student in all of these things. I'm fun. They're bright. They're exciting. There's a workbook. We have a Facebook group for parents of college-bound teens through Sharkbook. Will answer any question within 24 to 48 hours. And then we do a quarterly wrap-up. So quarterly, boom, everybody who's in Sharks comes on. I tell you exactly where your student should be right now. Now, of course, you can then hire us out, but that wasn't the goal. The goal was to reach thousands of families to give them the right advice. Because I also have a channel on TikTok, and it's called Bullshit from the Parent Sidelines. And people, and let me know if you were one of them, you're sitting there at a soccer
Yep.
game and you're hearing this chatter from these other families and you're thinking, my kid's not that good. We didn't do that. Oh my God, what's going to happen? It's BS. A lot of it is BS. A lot of it is out of context. So you need context to breathe and feel good because Scott, last year, your kid's going to live in your house. Do you want it to be stressful or do you want it to be like, man, I'm super proud of him. We did everything right. Put our best foot forward. Let's launch him the way that we can. So that's what we came up with. I want it to explode. I think to get it to the next level, we'll have to do maybe higher level recordings and stuff, which I don't mind doing at all. But I mean, it's $59 a month I'm 7,000 if you want to work with me. So do the math, right? It's $600 a year. You could do 2 years worth of College Sharks for $1,200. You have peace of mind, less stress, feeling like you're really knowledgeable, and a workbook that if you did it the whole time is actually, it matches exactly with the Common App. So you just start cutting and pasting and putting stuff in. So we're kind of building your resume as you move through these bite size. We say we're taking a bite out of college admissions. That's how we came up with the logo.
Nice. It's
Yeah.
Lee, you're interesting because I don't know if you grew up in an entrepreneurial family, but it feels like you've got a knack for it. You see that you had a scaling issue, you solved it, right? You go to the next thing and the next thing, you hire people. Did your family do, or were you around other people on other entrepreneurs, or how did you get here?
No, my dad's a steam fitter, right? He did really well, worked shift work most of my life, and then moved into nuclear power business, which was really super cool for him at that time. My mom was an Allstate agent, but that was a business that just came and went. I am self-driven. When everybody's like, "Oh, who's your mentor?" No one. It's me. I just am not satisfied. So I'm a very different independent college consultant than most because I want to reach more people. I want to do more things. And I probably have an ego problem. I'm going to be on television. I'm nervous, but I want to reach masses of people and do something really big because I have a plan with what I'm going to do with my fortune. I have a big plan. So I'm self-driven, and end of story.
Lee Norwood, we're out of time. You're awesome. I dig the entire thing. No, I just love that you saw it. You went for it. You want to scale it. You saw that. You went for it. You're doing it all. It was really, really lovely to meet you.
Thanks. You too, Scott. Thanks for the time.